Goalkeeper positioning is probably the most important aspect of goalkeeping. So in this video, I will tell you how to position correctly at all times, and whilst also telling you an insight on advanced positioning. In this video, I will show you the basics of positioning for a shot and a corner, and tell you the advanced positioning of goalkeeping. When positioning for a shot, you want to be straight to the ball, whilst being directly centered in correspondence to the ball's current position. This means that when the ball is at an angle to the goal, you want to be standing in the center of the white lines shown on screen. This is so that you cover as much of the goal as possible, giving the attacker little room to put the ball past you. Being centered in correspondence to the ball will increase the chances of you saving the ball, decreases the available area for the attacker to score. This can also be done at different angles. To make sure you are more familiar with your positioning, you can put down a ball in a random position, and you'd go to where you would stand if there were a shot being taken from there. As you are standing there, you can ask someone who can help you guide you to the correct position from the attacker's point of view, or record yourself in goal and later analyze your position, so that way you can improve your positioning. But remember, when you position, you never stand on the goal line. You would take 1 to 3 steps away from the goal line at all times. However, sometimes depending on the player's distance to the goal, you would be closer towards them. If they're on the edge of the box, then you would be 1 to 3 steps off your goal line. However, in the box, that fluctuates depending on the amount of defenders you have in front of you and the angle at which the attacker is attacking you. That is because you are already covering the majority of the goal at these angles, making the window frame of the goal smaller either way. Therefore, you'd position normally. Even though this is basic positioning, some teams / goalkeepers want to play aggressive positioning high than usual. Even though this closes the angle down more, you have less time to react to the shot. Now that's the basics of positioning for a shot. Now we'll move on to the basic positioning for a corner, before I later explain to you the advanced positioning. During a corner, you would take a step off your line, positioning yourself just behind the center of the goal, facing away from the ball, opening up your body. You'd position like this to be able to get to the ball easily, whilst also being ready for any headers being redirected at you. If there's a free kick further up the pitch, then you would stand higher off your line to give more time to be able to claim the ball if it goes past the defensive line. From there, you don't want to be stood too close to the defensive line, otherwise the free kick taker may decide to shoot. But you also don't want to be standing too deep, otherwise you're decreasing your chances of claiming the ball. Now that you know the basics of positioning, let's move on to advanced positioning. I know what you're thinking. How can there be any advances on positioning? You would take into considerations many external factors, such as the weather, the foot which the player is using, and how the player likes to strike the ball, and adjust yourself to the best chance of saving the player's shot. For instance, if the shot is being taken from this side and the player is right-footed, then you position yourself a bit closer to the near post, as it will be extremely difficult for them to hit the far side. But if they are left-footed and taking the shot from the same side, then you'd position yourself a bit further off the post, as it will minimize the chance of them scoring by curling the ball around you. However, this would only work on these angles due to such a small window of the goal frame. But as the angle increases, the more you have to be centered to the ball. Also, probably the most important information in this video, if you are out of position and you find yourself having to get back into position from an awkward area before the attacker tries to score, you'd try your best to either drop back to a position that covers most of the goal, or close the angle down depending on the distance you are away from them. If you are close to them whilst out of position, then try to get as close to them as possible, trying to cover as much of the goal as possible before they shoot. In the more realistic scenario, you drop back to get in front of the player as fast as possible before they take a shot. Remember, as you are moving back into position, you must always watch the attacker to recognize when they are going to shoot. As they swing the leg back to take the shot, you would stand and face them in the position ready to attempt to make a save. This would be better than trying to reposition whilst they are shooting, because they may just leave you cross-footed. However, there are some times where you will need to be back into position whilst they are shooting. These times usually come when you aren't covering most of the goal already, meaning that you must reposition back to where it's necessary as a shot is being taken, hoping that you save the ball. Now onto advanced position for corners and crosses. Depending on the player's foot, you would change your stance position. If they are right-footed taking the corner from the right-hand side, then you'd position yourself a bit deeper, as they would most likely send an in-swinger. However, if they are left-footed taking the corner from the right-hand side, you'd position yourself a bit higher, as you would be expecting an outswinger. Remember, the weather does make it harder because if the wind is pushing towards your goal, you drop back a bit, but if it's pushing the opposite direction, then you'll stay where you are. Now that you know the advanced and basic positioning for corners and shots, you can practice your positioning with these 3 different drills. First drill, you have 5 points from where your partner would be taking the shot. At each point, you are facing the goal, and when a signal gets given, you turn and position immediately for the incoming shot. You would do this for every point to get used to where to stand. To improve this drill, the attacker may take a touch outwards to make you think about minimalistic adjustments. For the second drill, you'd position yourself in odd positions within the box, whilst the attacker stands at different angles outside the box. As the attacker shouts go, you'd recover to the best position you can whilst the shot is being taken. This match realistic drill helps you adjust to the best way you can to the shot whilst being out of position. Lastly, the third drill, you just repeat crosses from different angles, getting used to the flight of the ball and positioning. If you got to this bit in the video, please comment down below save. That's how to position as a goalkeeper. So if you enjoyed or found this video useful, please don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and other than that, that's me. See ya!